Okay, hey guys, it is Megan up at Camp Sunshine, and today I thought I would pop on. I am making granola for Mr. Tabert, and I have posted at least once, if not twice, the same recipe, but I have said it is my weed infused or my weed and seed granola. And so just coming on here to say that you don't have to include the cannabis or the CBD in this granola to have it reap many benefits for you. Fucking Mr. Tabert lost like 12 pounds. But to be fair, he was eating sugar cereal, like the really bad, glyphosate, all that shit, for years and years and years. That was his thing. I mean, he gets up at the crack of dawn and nobody's going to fuck with Mr. Tabert and his sugar cereal. And people, my kids would joke and say, don't ever make Mr. Tabert come off of his sugar cereal. And I had no intention of doing so. But I did mention the levels of glyphosate in his beloved Honey Nut Cheerios. And that immediately triggered a switch for him. And he wanted to come up with an alternative. And so I now make him this granola. It's my granola that I make infused with my infused oils, but without the cannabis. And he has Greek yogurt and a bunch of frozen blueberries, and he has a parfait every morning, and he's been doing that for about 5 months and absolutely loves it and doesn't miss his sugar cereal. So, I mean, and that's the key. Everything that I have given up, before I give it up or I alter things, I find something, a substitute that I love, and I just begin to figure it out. For instance, right now I'm actually coming off of, I have had a love affair with my raw milk because I really do think that it helped with my gut health when I was coming out of the chronic constipation, IBS, SIBO bullshit that all started with me taking my Tecfidera way back in like 2015. So my gut healing process has been a long one, and I know for a fact that for a long time the raw milk was really helping me. But I do understand that there are inflammatory properties to it, and that there is some link that people with MS, the dairy may actually be significantly worse. And I do drink 2 cups a day, and I was trying to see if I would feel or notice a change if I came off of it, but before dropping it. So I have a cup in my smoothie that I drink every morning. I don't know if you need to see this. So I have a cup of raw milk in this, and then I do a cup in my mushroom coffee that I have in the afternoon. So I substituted the milk in my smoothie with just water, didn't know how that would go, and it tastes absolutely fine. And then in the afternoon, I am now making my mushroom coffee sans cream until the very end, and then I just pour in a little bit of coconut milk, and actually because it's kind of got a chocolatey, turmeric-y flavor to it, it really goes well with it. So that's how I gave up my milk. This is how Mr. Tabert gave up his sugar cereal. So I thought I would at least explain to you how you can do it without it, and encourage, because it does have so many other wonderful ingredients that are beneficial to you, to try it. It's with or without the weed. So it starts out with 4 cups of oats, and this is what we are currently buying because we go to we call it Upriver Costco. It's a small U-Haul office space that somebody has created into a store that they buy Costco brands and bring it to the people up island that are upriver that can't necessarily get their good groceries from other places. So we go there often. So that is 4 cups of oats, and then I do 1 cup of pumpkin seeds and 1 cup of sunflower seeds. So you should know, this is just a standard go-to that we do all the time, but you can play around with that. You could add nuts, you could add all sorts of other seeds, whatever you want. The key is to keep your oats to 4 cups, because that 4-cup ratio works with the liquid that I'm going to tell you about in a minute. So you just put them in a bowl and mix them up all together. And then I forgot to do this, so now I'm going to have to do this in front of you all. I'm going to put it on a baking sheet, and parchment paper, I think personally, makes a big difference. It makes it so that the honey caramelizes a little bit more, and it's just a crunchier granola than if I don't do the parchment paper. So I do it on 2 two different baking sheets, spreading it out nice and even all the way to the sides. You want a nice thin layer so that everything, and so what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the oven at 350 degrees for 14 minutes. I don't know why I do 14. It's when it's just beginning to get to that golden brown in my oven. So play around with it. You don't want it to burn because then it really doesn't taste good. So you're going to do this for 14 minutes. And while that is in the oven toasting, I am going to do the liquid that I mentioned earlier that I will then stir into the now toasted or the soon to be toasted oats. I'm going to start out, and I will screenshot this at the end so you all can have the ingredients and quantities. Okay, so this is coconut oil. I use fractionated coconut oil, which means it's in a liquid form and will always stay in a liquid form. I suppose you could use the harder that comes in a tub. You just have to figure out how to measure out your half cup. So it's a half a cup of oil. And just so you know, in this step, I always do the oil first because then it lines my measuring cup with the oil, which makes it much easier to then get the second and only other liquid ingredient, which is honey. And honey is a bitch sometimes to get out of this. So just a little fun fact secret there. Whoops. So it is half a cup of oil and a half a cup of honey. And I've played around with this. You can reduce it down to about a half a cup if you want less sugars. See how nicely that comes out. And it's all gone. So that's a really good tip. Okay, so those are your two liquids that go in this. And then, oh, I made a mess of my honey. Dagnabbit. Okay. Okay, so that is your liquid. And now, you're gonna flavor your liquid. I'm gonna start out, and this is really, really easy, and I played around, and these are the quantities that I think go best. I don't know. So I am doing 3 tablespoons of cinnamon. And you notice I'm not being super, super careful about the measurements there. So 3 of cinnamon, 2 of ground ginger, and then 1 of turmeric. I occasionally make my weed-infused one with more turmeric and just for the medical benefits, but also the flavor. I love the flavor of turmeric. But just be forewarned, if you increase this, you're way more likely to get stained hands if you're eating your granola with your hands or staining your bowl, because this is a bright color and it definitely stains. Okay, so you have 3, 2, 1. You're gonna do 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I have one that I made for myself, all organic, that I use in mine. This is not necessarily the best, but Mr. Tabert isn't that picky. And when he becomes picky, then I'll start using the picky stuff. And then 1 teaspoon of salt. And then you're gonna put this on the oven, just at a low temperature, let it all melt and blend together while the oats are toasting. Once the oats are out of the oven, once they are cool to the touch where you can pick up your parchment paper, put it back into your original bowl, pour your now melted liquid concoction on top, stir it all up, and it will seem possibly at times like there is just not going to be enough liquid, but just keep stirring because it does coat all of, remember I said those, that's why the 4 cups of oats is important. This amount of liquid will work with that. And if you've got other seeds and nuts, they are not absorbing the oil. It's the oats that are absorbing it. So that's your ratio. Always do 4 cups. So toss, toss, toss. Put it back onto the tray with the parchment paper, doing the same thing, spreading it out into a thin layer, back into the oven for 14 minutes, and that's it. And it is absolutely delicious. So, as I said, so Where you would make the difference is when I poured in that coconut oil. If I want to make it for myself and have it infused with either my CBD or my THC, I just pick out one of those oils and use that instead of the clear, pure coconut oil. Hope everybody has a great day and that I didn't forget anything here. I think I got it. Bye, guys.